Today we're diving into one of the most chilling psychological thrillers of 2025, The Occupant. This movie takes suspense and mystery to a whole new level, keeping audiences on the edge of their seats from the very first scene. If you're a fan of dark thrillers, mind-bending plots, and unexpected twists, then this review is just for you. Set in America, The Occupant 2025 tells the story of a family moving into their dream home, only to discover that they're not alone. What starts as strange noises and eerie encounters soon unravels into a terrifying secret that changes everything. Directed with a gripping pace and filled with jaw-dropping performances, The Occupant is quickly becoming one of the most talked-about thriller movies of 2025. So stick around as we break down the story, characters, and shocking ending of The Occupant 2025, the American thriller that's got everyone buzzing this year. The movie begins with a quick look at a lonely, abandoned cave. It feels unsettling right away, and though we don't yet know why, it's clear this place holds dark secrets that won't be revealed until much later. Next, we're introduced to Abby, the central character of the story. She shares a powerful bond with her sister, Beth. After losing their mother, Beth stepped into almost a parental role for Abby, becoming the heart of her world. Their father is still present and supportive, but for Abby, Beth is everything. Life takes a painful turn when Beth is diagnosed with cancer, and doctors deliver the devastating news that her time is limited. Abby refuses to accept this fate. In her desperation, she discovers a company offering an experimental cancer treatment, one that could save Beth's life. The problem? The cost is impossibly high. Determined to raise the money, Abby takes on a high-risk but high-paying job. As a geologist, she's warned about the dangers, but nothing will stop her. Her journey takes her all the way to the Georgian Caucasus, a rugged mountain region near Russia and the Black Sea, where tensions still run high because parts of the land are under Russian control. There, she's tasked with searching for uranium. The pay is good, but after months of hard work, nothing useful turns up, and Beth's condition keeps getting worse. When Abby suggests digging deeper, her colleague reminds her that crossing further means entering Russian territory, which is strictly forbidden. Feeling trapped, Abby also faces pressure from her father, who is furious about her dangerous choices. But with no upfront payment from the company, her options are running out. The next day, after yet another failed search, Abby decides to push into the dense forest. Her colleague warns her about wild animals and refuses to go, but Abby insists, demanding his gun before heading in alone. Inside the woods, the atmosphere shifts. It's quiet, tense, almost suffocating. That's when Abby spots something unusual, a strange black stone resting on the ground. Drawn to it, she picks it up. This stone isn't like anything she's ever encountered before, and it marks the beginning of something far more terrifying. Back at the base, Abby begins secretly examining the strange black stone. She's convinced it might be valuable enough to pay for Beth's treatment, so she hides it from the company. Just then, she gets a call from her father. Beth's condition has gotten critical. Panicked, Abby decides she has to go home immediately. She tells her colleague she may never return, then boards a helicopter to leave the site. During the flight, the pilot shares a personal story, how he once lived in this very region with his family before Russian forces took over 15 years earlier. But before Abby can process that, she notices something unusual in the sky. At first, it looks like a flock of birds, but then the formation slams into the helicopter, knocking out its systems and sending it spiraling down. When Abby wakes up after the crash, she's injured but alive. One of the pilots is already dead, while the other is gravely wounded. She tries to stop his bleeding and attempts to call for help over the radio, but it's broken. Stranded in the wilderness, she realizes rescue may never come. Checking the map, Abby sees the nearest road is nearly 60 kilometers away, a brutal distance across dangerous terrain. She does what she can for the surviving pilot and builds a fire, hoping someone might notice. But by morning, he has passed away too, leaving Abby terrified and utterly alone. With no choice left, she gathers supplies from the wreckage, including a gun, and sets out, determined to reach Beth no matter what. That's when she hears faint static in the air. Following the sound, Abby discovers a working walkie-talkie in the pilot's gear. It's still picking up weak signals. Using the helicopter's battery, she powers it up and finally hears a voice. It's John, another survivor from a different crash. For the first time, Abby feels a flicker of relief. John explains he went down somewhere nearby, close to a lake surrounded by dense forest. But there's a problem. His leg is pinned, he's losing sensation, and his long-range antenna is destroyed. Unless someone physically reaches him, rescue is impossible. Checking the map, Abby notices a lake about 30 kilometers to the north. If she can reach it, maybe she can find John's location and use his radio setup to call for help. But John warns her not to go that way. He insists she should head south instead. It's safer, though much farther. Abby knows that would take too long, and with Beth's condition worsening, she can't afford to waste time. Against his advice, she chooses the dangerous northern path. The landscape is brutal. Steep mountains, rough terrain, and freezing winds slow her down. Through the walkie-talkie, John keeps her company, asking about her background. When she mentions she's a geologist, he immediately guesses she's there for uranium. His quick assumption unsettles her. Later, Abby shares the truth. She's risking everything to save her sister. John hints that he was on a mission himself, but avoids giving clear answers. That night, Abby builds a small shelter to rest. She pulls out the strange black stone again, and what happens shakes her to the core. The stone shifts in her hand, its surface morphing like liquid metal, almost alive. This is no ordinary rock. It feels like advanced technology, and the realization terrifies her. Meanwhile, John's calm voice over the radio is equally unnerving. Even while trapped and injured, he doesn't seem afraid of dying. His composure feels unnatural. By morning, Abby pushes on, exhaustion and John's constant talking starting to wear her down. At one point, she snaps, warning that if he keeps chattering nonstop, the radio battery will drain. Her journey grows even more dangerous when she reaches a steep cliff. The climb is grueling. Struggling to keep her grip, she tells John about the difficulty. He replies gently, saying she can turn back if she wants. He even says he hopes her sister recovers. But when Abby admits Beth isn't getting better, John coldly reminds her, "You can't save everyone." That strikes a nerve. Furious, Abby shuts him down, insisting she doesn't need advice, she just needs to move forward. John only replies, calm as ever, "Then do what you think is right." As Abby climbs higher, she suddenly hears something chilling through the static. "You're my favorite." The words feel strangely personal. Before she can react, John goes silent. Trying to push the moment aside, Abby keeps climbing. But when her knife slips from her hand and falls into the rocks below, panic sets in. She needs something sharp to hold on. That's when she remembers the black stone, the strange object she carries, one that can change shape. Abby forces the strange stone to change shape again, this time fitting it into a crevice and using it to pull herself upward. She even molds it into a rope, carrying it along as she climbs. The journey isn't described with much flair, but in reality, it's terrifying. One wrong step and her life could have ended right there on the cliff face. Finally, she reaches the top of the mountain, exhausted but alive. The stone has already proven itself far more powerful than she ever imagined, but Abby doesn't have the luxury of stopping to think. Through her binoculars, she spots something in the distance. The same dark objects in the sky, and beyond them, a heavily guarded military base. Before pressing forward, she builds a small fire and carves an arrow into the ground, leaving a sign behind in case anyone ever comes looking for her. But as she starts her descent, John's voice crackles through the radio again. His tone is different this time, sharper. He warns her that she's heading into enemy territory, and if she crosses that line, soldiers will kill her on sight. He insists that no help is waiting for her in that direction. Fear grips Abby, and in that moment of distraction, her foot slips. She tumbles down hard, injuring her leg badly. Gritting her teeth, she tears cloth to bind it tightly and forces herself to keep moving. By evening, through the snow and freezing cold, she spots a village. Desperate for shelter, she pushes forward, only to find it completely abandoned. Inside one of the crumbling houses, she patches herself up and injects morphine to ease the pain. She even finds food, but it's spoiled. Hungry and exhausted, she endures the night. At dawn, strange noises pull her outside. Her heart stops. There's a Russian soldier nearby. She scrambles back inside to hide, but he grows suspicious and follows her in. Abby has no choice. With trembling hands, she aims her gun. Fear takes control, and she fires, hitting his leg. The soldier collapses. Quickly, she takes his rifle and orders him to hand over his bag. When she checks it, her blood runs cold. Inside is another stone, identical to the one she carries. Then, through the soldier's radio, a voice cuts in, a man named Ivan. But Abby recognizes it instantly. It's John, the same person who's been guiding her, changing names, twisting truths. Somehow he's connected to these mysterious stones. Furious, Abby demands answers, shouting into the radio, "Who are you really?" But he doesn't respond. Enraged, she hurls the radio away. Turning back to the wounded soldier, she makes him a deal. If he wants her help, he'll have to take her straight to the base. The wounded soldier, who had been wandering the area in search of shelter, agreed to go with Abby. Strangely, he too had been in contact with John, or Ivan, but no one could figure out the man's true intentions. The language barrier made communication difficult, yet both Abby and the soldier understood one thing clearly: survival meant sticking together. Abby insisted their path should lead toward the lake. Supporting the soldier with every painful step, she couldn't shake the thought that maybe she hadn't needed to shoot him at all. But John's words about the Russians had planted doubt and fear deep in her mind. When they paused to rest, frustration got the better of her. Abby hurled the mysterious stone away, declaring they had no choice but to keep going. As they pressed forward, disaster struck. The ice beneath them gave way, sending the soldier crashing into the freezing water. Abby rushed to save him, but the ground broke beneath her too, plunging her into a pit. Somehow she managed to claw her way out, but her companion was gone. Soaked, shivering, and on the edge of collapse, Abby stripped off her wet clothes, desperately trying to conserve heat. That's when John's voice returned, echoing through the radio. Furious, she ripped the battery out and tossed it aside. But to her horror, his voice continued, clear as ever, as though he was speaking directly inside her mind. Exhausted, Abby drifted into an uneasy sleep. Her dreams took her back to memories of Beth, of their bond, of everything she was fighting for. When she awoke, the distant hum of a helicopter filled her with hope. Summoning what strength she had left, she staggered into the forest, convinced rescuers had finally arrived. But her body was too weak. She stumbled and fell straight into a cavern, the very same cave we glimpsed at the beginning of the story. Inside, hot springs bubbled and Abby's body floated in the water. Then came a chilling sight. Beside her, the decayed corpse of a soldier, his badge still visible. The name engraved on it was John. In that moment, the black particles from the mysterious stone began to attach themselves to Abby's body. Darkness closed in, and when she regained consciousness, she found herself in a strange, otherworldly place, surrounded by the same floating stones, now alive all around her. As Abby floated in this strange place, John's voice returned. He revealed a shocking truth, that he had been trapped here 65 years ago, and that's how he first discovered this world. Abby realized then that her helicopter crash hadn't been an accident at all. It was deliberate. The stones weren't ordinary minerals. They were either an advanced alien technology or a form of intelligent life that had existed on Earth for centuries. Maybe they were prisoners here, or maybe they chose to remain hidden. But one thing was clear: they needed humans. Unlike the hostile aliens we usually see in movies, these beings weren't outright evil. They didn't forcefully take over human bodies. Instead, they were something far beyond human understanding. John confessed that he had surrendered himself to them. His body was no longer flesh, but formed entirely from the stones. He admitted that he had once been dying, but by giving himself completely to the system, he was able to survive. "I'm just like you," he told Abby, "a survivor." But then he revealed the truth. He had become part of the system itself. And now Abby was being given the same choice. Abby, however, refused. She told him she didn't want to be a part of it. All she wanted was to go home. And in that moment, she saw it. Her home, her sister, and a perfect happy life waiting for her. But deep down, Abby knew it wasn't real. It was just an artificial world created by this advanced system. Still, she embraced the illusion, met her sister once more, and spoke from the heart. And in those final moments, Abby accepted something she had been running from all along: that death isn't the end, but a natural part of life. The strange life form kept trying to convince Abby to surrender willingly, but she refused. Instead, she opened the door of her home, a powerful metaphor woven into the story itself. This moment can be seen in many ways, and that's part of what makes it so fascinating. As the door opened, Abby stepped into a raging snowstorm. Flashes of light followed, giving the impression that she might have been rescued. Then suddenly, she opened her eyes inside an apartment. It belonged to Sergei, a close friend from her college days. He explained that she had been saved, but Abby's heart still longed for one thing: to go home, to be with her sister. The next day, Abby finally returned. But it was too late. Her sister was taking her last breaths. In those heartbreaking moments, Abby and her father stayed by her side until the very end. The film closes with this deeply emotional scene. In my view, this movie is truly remarkable. It blends emotional storytelling with thought-provoking sci-fi elements in a way that lingers long after the credits roll. The mysterious stones leave plenty of room for theories. Were they alien technology, a higher form of life, or something else entirely? But for me, the real power of this film lies in Abby's journey. At its core, it's about her struggle with the idea of death, and how she ultimately learns to accept it as an inseparable part of life. And that wraps up our breakdown of The Occupant 2025, a film that combines mystery, sci-fi, and emotional drama in a way that truly stands out. The story of Abby, her sister, and the mysterious alien stones isn't just about survival. It's about love, sacrifice, and the acceptance of life's final truth. If you enjoyed this movie review and ending explained, don't forget to hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dive breakdowns of the latest films. What did you think about The Occupant 2025? Was it more of a sci-fi thriller for you or an emotional survival drama? Let us know below. We love hearing your theories. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more 2025 movie reviews, sci-fi breakdowns, and ending explained videos right here on the channel.